So now let's talk about the message format, because now that we have different components sending messages to other components, it's helpful to understand what the message format looks like. So the message actually contains three parts. First, you're going to have the properties, and then you have the headers, and then you have the body. So let's take a look at the message properties. These are predefined attributes of the message, and I list some of them here, but it's not the full set, but this is actually the most common ones that you will be using. So first we have the content encoding, which just informs the end consumer what the body of that message is encoded in. You have the content type. Again, that informs the end user what the content of the body looks like. You have a correlation ID, and this is just another string that you can use as a tag, and we can take a look at how that's used in remote procedure calls, which we will discuss later. We also have a delivery mode. We have an expiration attribute, which controls when the messages will expire. We also have the message ID that you can tag with your own custom string that you can use to identify the message uniquely if you need to do so within your architecture. We have a reply to, and this is used heavily in the remote procedure calls, and we will talk about that later. We also have a timestamp. You can actually use this field to record when this message was created. And there's other message properties that we did not go over because, again, I don't think they're widely used that much when you're starting out. So let's take a look at message headers. And message headers are simply just a map of strings to objects. And the values within that header can be simple data types, such as strings, long, integer, Boolean, and double. And headers are used to store user-specific data outside of the message body. So normally a message body contains some binary data, but you can also augment your message with additional metadata, which you can store in the headers. And finally, we get to the message body, and that's basically just an array of bytes. So you can actually put in anything that you want as long as you can convert them into bytes. You can send binary data or you can send string data. Like for example, you can send the file content or the image data, and then you can use the content type property of the message to specify what kind of data it is. So normally the content type is a MIME type. So you can say, for example, it's a image/JPEG or image/PNG for images, or if you're going to send some like a Microsoft file, then you can specify one of those Microsoft MIME types. But be warned that the body is an array of bytes, but you want to keep those message bodies as lightweight as possible. You want to make sure that those messages are transferred through the network as fast as possible. And because the whole message needs to be transferred every time it gets delivered somewhere. The fact is that the bigger the message, the longer it's going to take to transfer. And what happens is there's heartbeats that go around between the different components in order to know that those components are alive. And if big messages can cause network congestions, then the side effect is that those components can time out, and then those will be disconnected from your overall RMQ ecosystem.